Hey everybody, and welcome to Salesforce Live at Dreamforce. I am Heike Young, and I'm so thrilled to be here in the world's largest gathering of customer trailblazers anywhere. I am joined by my friend and colleague, Mr. Jim Yoop. Jim, welcome.
Thanks, Heike. Glad to be here.
Well, it's great to have you right here in the middle of the Trailhead area at Dreamforce. Pretty exciting stuff, huh?
It's amazing. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in many tech conferences, but this is a one of a kind. It's just really, really awesome.
I feel more like I'm at Yosemite than a tech conference right now.
Yes, it's definitely fun. It is a fun place to be, and I could feel the energy.
Well, Jim, I know we want to spend some time right now talking about the state of marketing research, and you and I have both spent a lot of time developing and studying this research over the past few years. For those who haven't seen the report in Forbes, Adweek, VentureBeat, one of the many other publications that's covered it, can you give us a quick overview into what this report is all about?
Sure, thanks, Heike. Yeah, the 2016 State of Marketing Report is an amazing survey that we did with over 4,000 marketers worldwide. And we interviewed folks who were not just marketers, but people who were responsible for marketing leadership roles. So, a lot of times in business-to-business surveys, you're just trying to get enough people to have a good set of data. We didn't have that problem this time. We actually turned away a lot of people who wanted to fill out the survey. So we looked at not only marketers, but also we asked them several questions about how they believed they were doing in terms of getting return on their marketing investments. And that allowed us to actually classify people by high performer, moderate performer, and low performer. So it gave us a really cool insight into kind of what the successful marketers are doing that maybe the less successful ones are not.
That's interesting. So not only do we know which strategies and tactics are the most popular, but we also know which ones are the most successful because those are the ones that those high performers are using, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
So, Jim, as you surveyed all of these different marketers, you looked at what they were doing across email, mobile, social, all of these different aspects of marketing. Do you think that any particular tactics came out as maybe the number one, number two most successful when you looked at just those high performers and what they're up to in marketing?
Sure. So it's interesting. Virtually everybody's doing the same things as far as yes, they're doing email. Yes, they're doing some social media. But the big driving theme, I think, that came across for high performers is that high performers are much more likely to be executing a customer journey strategy. So, for example, one of the survey questions was, how are you doing in terms of creating one-to-one customer journeys? And for those who answered in a positive manner that they believe they were doing a great job at that, or a good job or better, they are 10 times more likely if they were a high performer to answer that than if they were a low performer. So one-to-one customer journeys is definitely where the market leaders are breaking away from the pack.
Well, that's fascinating, and I know we also broke this data down across, retail, healthcare, lots of different industries, as well as B2B and B2C, and we'll get more to that in a second. But within those one-to-one customer journeys, I know that one channel, Jim, that always plays a key role is email. And we know that email, it's not always the brightest, shiniest object. It's not anything brand new in the marketer's arsenal. It's been around for a long time. But it has been there for a reason, and that is because it is a high ROI channel for many, many marketers. Can you talk about kind of the state of email right now, according to this report?
Yeah, definitely, Heike. And you're right. It isn't the bright, shiny object, as some of the other, hotter channels like social media marketing, but it is effective and it works. It generates some of the highest ROI of any tactic in marketing. And what we did see, though, is that those high performers are actually digging down and actually getting into some more tactics that the lower performers are not. And another area where they really broke away from the pack is in the area of artificial intelligence-powered email. So this year at Dreamforce, you're going to hear a lot about artificial intelligence and how do we make brands and marketers and all professionals smarter at their jobs and more productive. And in the area of email, we definitely saw that AI-powered predictive intelligence, not only just segmenting your customers by maybe the data that you have about them in terms of what demographic they might be in, but actually based on behavior, what they're clicking on the website, what they're clicking on in your emails, looking back at regression modeling of data and saying, okay, this is what they're most likely to want. And also looking at your subscriber base and determining whether or not someone is more likely to engage with content or not. So we saw about 30% of the high performers were actually executing on some level of predictive artificial intelligence-powered email.
Now, 30%, that's what you said, right? About 30% of those high-performing marketers
That's right.
are. Now, it doesn't seem like it's even the majority to me, Jim. I mean,
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. In fact, there's plenty of opportunity for improvement across the board. There's plenty of innovation left on the table in marketing and in email, of course. So, yeah, when you look at the high performers overall in the survey only accounted for 18% of the total respondents.
Wow.
So it was actually a small segment that is really starting to take the lead in deploying some of these more analytical, deep machine learning types of tactics.
So we might say that those are the marketing trailblazers.
They are the trailblazers, absolutely.
Fascinating stuff, Jim. And I do want to shift gears and talk about one of my favorite topics for a second, social media. 2016 was an amazing year if you follow the news on social at all. For example, we had Snapchat release some spectacles. They changed their company name to Snap this year. Just a lot going on with that particular social channel. Instagram stories, a new content and storytelling tool for marketers that I find just really interesting in the way that it is a direct competitor to Snapchat, but also offers some different capabilities as well. And those are just two examples, right? I mean, there was so much going on this year in social. What are some of the strategies that are really paying off for marketers who do invest in social media?
Well, Heike, I'm glad you said pay it off, because that's one of the big data points that came out of the research, that this year we saw more marketers than ever indicating that they were experiencing significant ROI on their social media marketing investments. And when we drilled down into the data, we saw there were a couple of new areas where brands are exploring and seeing results where they hadn't before, and it's primarily in the area of paid social advertising. So when you take a look at all of the money that's spent to advertise kind of at the top of the funnel to get prospects and buyers to engage with your brand, it's very difficult today with mobile devices and ad blocking to be able to actually get your ad in front of real people. The days of relying on a cookie tag just aren't working anymore. So, or as effective as they once were. So with LinkedIn, with Facebook, whether you're a B2B marketer or you're a B2C marketer, you're able to actually connect with real people that you know. You have an email address on those people, and you're able to also go out and find people who match your best profile of customer and find lookalikes and grow your list of subscribers that way. So those are some tactics that we see in social that are really paying off.
And Jim, you've also talked to me before about something called the stereo effect. Can you go into a little bit more detail? And you kind of alluded to it, but what exactly is the stereo effect for Facebook ads?
Sure. So we did several studies with different brands, and what we noticed was that if you send an email and just an email offer to your audience, you're going to get modest results. But if you take that same email and that same offer and also target that same audience on social media, for instance, you've got an ad showing up in your Facebook feed or an ad showing up in your LinkedIn feed, you're going to see 10, 20, 30% higher lift by being able to reach them on both channels, email and social advertising at the same time.
So kind of using that same copy, that same creative even, and just sharing it on a different channel seems to work really well.
It's killing it, Heike. I mean, we're just seeing the leaders, those high performers. They're doing this way better than everybody else.
Impressive stuff. So, Jim, you talked a little bit ago about B2B for social media, how it's, social isn't only for B2C brands anymore, and increasingly we see this trend where B2B and B2B marketers maybe aren't all as different as they once were about 15 or 20 years ago. And I know we segmented this data by a variety of industries and also by B2B versus B2C. What were some of the key differences, or perhaps if you want to talk about kind of the similarities between marketers on both sides of that division, if you want to call it that?
Right. There used to be, definitely a clear delineation in terms of even the tasks. What are the functions and responsibilities of a B2B marketer versus a B2C marketer? I think that's really blurring. The lines are blurring between B2B and B2C. The reality is that whether you're a buyer of a product for your business or you're a buyer of something for your household, chances are you're going to get on the internet and you're going to use your mobile phone to do it, and you're going to do research before you make your purchase. So a lot of the tactics are becoming the same. Now, obviously with B2b marketing, your job is to fill the pipeline full of great leads for your sales team. And we're seeing that B2B marketers are doing some cool things with social, actually reaching out and using social media to find prospects based on not just at mentions of your brand, but are they talking about keywords that you're interested in that are related to your brand. So we're seeing some really cool tactics on the B2B side. And of course, B2C, it's really all about becoming just more like B2B marketers if you think about it. We're trying to give that one-on-one experience, high touch, like there was a sales rep associated with your account, but do that at scale with millions and millions of customers.
Well, Jim, there's so much data in the full report, and I think it's interesting. I think we as marketers struggle sometimes with the sheer amount of data available to us through analytics platforms, through all of these different tools that we use to reach our customers. Yes, they're amazing, and yes, they do spin out some amazing reports and different data reports that we can look at to become better marketers. But in order to really use that data wisely, we have to know what data to look at, how much to look at. We can't let it swallow us, and we really need to use it to drive action within our organizations. How do you really suggest that marketers take action of this report? I mean, I know in the hard copy version, there's 70 plus pages of data in the State of Marketing report?
Yeah, sure. So there's plenty of data there. We will. If you love charts and you love analytics, you're going to love the report. And you can obviously grab those and put them in your PowerPoints and whatnot. But I think that when you look at all of the data, there's some big themes that come to the surface. And one of the themes is that one-to-one customer journeys is really where the leaders are taking the market. And how do you as a brand connect with your customers in completely new ways and make it a personalized experience? And when we look at what does it take to do that, you've got to be mapping your customer journey, and you've also you need to be working across the boundaries in your company. It's not just a marketing thing anymore. Your customer doesn't care whether it's an interaction with your customer service organization, your sales organization, or a marketing interaction. They want to connect, and we're seeing that 34 times more likelihood that you're going to be good at crossing departmental lines if you're a high performer versus if you were a low performer.
Well, I love this data. I'm a big data geek, as you know, and I know you are too. And so, Jim, for folks listening in who want to get a copy of this for themselves, how can they do that?
Well, you know what? You can save a tree. It's about 100 pages long. But if you go to our website at salesforce.com/stateofmarketing, you'll be able to download it there. It's a nice PDF file. You can watch it on your way home from Dreamforce.
Thank you so much, Jim. It was a lot of great information covered, and I hope everybody will go ahead and download that report.
All right. Thanks, Heike.
Well, folks, that wraps it up for me for now. I am Heike Young, joining you from the Trailhead Zone here at Dreamforce. Stay tuned for more Salesforce Live at Dreamforce.